update on my Garmin's. I've had Garmin's now for, I don't know, a couple months now. 4 months. I love them. I do. I love them. I was always worried about making the switch, right? When you make a switch like that, you worry that everything you've learned over the years, right, you're gonna have to relearn. And to be honest with you, once you kind of have some units and you kind of know how to use electronics anyways, it's pretty easy. To be honest with you, most of these companies now have set everything up to where you don't have to do a whole bunch of settings. We're gonna go do some settings later on. I'm gonna have my buddy up here, Taylor from Jones Marine Electronics, who installed it. I'm gonna get him to come out here and talk a little bit about the settings. But for the most part, this is what I got, right? I run two things. I run my map right here, and I just run my side imaging and down imaging here, okay? The map stuff, here's what I learned. You don't really need to know much, right? I mean, this is pretty much it. I will say this, I got messed up, and this is kind of what I wanted to these are the things I wanted to share with y'all. What I got messed up is one day I came out here and, you know, it kind of got messed up in the sense of I got on the wrong chart. I got on this, let's see here. I got on this navigation chart, okay? And if you see how it has contours, but it's all blue and white and everything. And I was going, hey, well, like, where'd all my stuff go? Little stuff like this, I know this is simple, but these are things that, like, hey, I called them up and I was like, hey, what happened to my map? Because I didn't think there was two different maps, right? I've never had one that had a navigation map and a fishing chart. But if you go to this fishing chart map, that's where you can color code everything and make everything pretty, right? To where you have everything color coded in depth and stuff like that. So that was one of the things that I had to figure out, okay? The other thing, and I just figured this out the other day, is you see my trails. I'm a big guy when it comes to trails and color coding trails. And what I do is I usually color code trails. Say like I fish, like say I got an open coming up and I've got 4 days of an open of practice and 2 or 3 days in the tournament. I have to remember like everything, and the easiest way for me to remember is color code each day. And so like whether it be blue on Monday and yellow and green, you can help better, especially when you're going to a new lake. It's like, oh yeah, I remember me going this way. This was the day I went and did it on. So I always color code every trail. Now, what happened to me the other day though, is when I got here, is if you go to this navigation info, right? This is pretty easy. This is like your home page, right? So that's your actual home page, but in reality, this is your home page, and you can do everything from here. You got your menu, you can do layers, waypoints, all that stuff. Like that stuff's really self-explanatory in the sense of if you push menu, you just kind of go through these waypoints and track new waypoint. So it's really, for the most part, pretty simple. But what I did is this navigation info, right? So you can do waypoints, tracks, all kinds of things. Well, if you push tracks, you have this thing, it's the active track memory used, okay? Now, I didn't know what that was, and if you go to this active track options, you can do your track colors, and that's what I was talking about, is making, so I can do this one, you can do the record mode, record interval, you can do a bunch of different things. When you go to track display, you know, you have all these different colors, you know, and then you can save your active track, which is what I usually do. Now, when I saw this active track memory used, like it's only at 16%. Well, I guess I had gone a couple days fishing and didn't realize that that's not the same thing as save track. So look, I have saved tracks. Well, what happened was, is if you use all this active track memory used, I thought, right? I thought that that was how many tracks I had saved. So when I got to 100% and I had like 9 tracks saved, I was like, and that's not a lot of tracks, to be honest with you. Like, that's all I get to save? Because sometimes I'll get like 30 of them on there. No, I'm an idiot. This is today's track. Like, so that, or whatever, after the last time I saved it, my active track, the one I have right now, which would be all these, of course, I just went and changed the color. That's my active track. So if I want to, so I go to my tracks. So if I wanted to go save active track and save it, okay? So that's my active track, is that green. That's what I went and did. Now I saved it, okay? And now, once I saved it, I can clear. So now I can clear active track. Delete all points in the active track log. Okay. So now my track log's okay, but if I go back to my map, there's my track. I still have my track, right, saved in green. Okay. So now it's gonna start, let's see. Okay, so what I did here, just for y'all, so y'all know, I go to tracks, active track options, make sure it's record mode, it's fill. Okay, you can turn it off, but you don't want that. You want this record mode on. So just click it right there, fill. That'll fill it, dark red. You can do it interval or not. It doesn't really matter. And there you go. You can see I'm starting a whole new track in red. And so that's how I get a different track on there. Really simple. Little things like this I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go over with y'all because I figure if as much as I use this stuff, if I have issues, some of y'all might have issues. So it's little stuff. I'm gonna do these videos constantly. Anytime I do anything that, like, I find something out or figure something out, like, oh man, this makes it way easier. Because for me, I was over there deleting all these tracks. All these tracks right here that I had saved. Like, I had a whole bunch of them. And I was trying to get this active track. Like, what happened was it stopped recording on me. Like, my track stopped recording. I wanted it to record. And I was like, great, you know? And I ended up clearing a whole bunch of tracks I didn't want to clear. Look at this. And if y'all have never seen the unit, might be something pretty cool up here. Look at that, there's one right there. See that one? You can see how the separation from the shadow and the white. Same thing with that one right there. There's separation from the white dot. Let's see here. If you pause it. See that separation right there between that white dot? See if I can, I don't know how to zoom in. Oh, I did zoom in. Okay, I never zoom in. Okay, I zoomed in way. See that white dot right there? That's a fish, that's its shadow. That's one of the best ways to know if that's a fish or not, is if there's separation between that white dot and that shadow. All right, get back up here. Just go full side imaging. So I'll show you the difference. I was gonna do a whole tutorial on this one day. About what we really see on the map, and I will. I'll go over what logs are and stumps and how you can tell the difference. And you can see bait and stuff. So a lot of these things, what'll happen is you'll see like right there. See if I can go across the stump. See, there's a white dot that's connected to black. That's the shadow. Look at all this rock. rock little ledges and clay stuff. I mean, it shows it really good. It shows all the veins of rock and just hard. So we don't really have rock, it's more or less hard clay. But you can tell right here, okay? See right there, see how you see that white marks, but then there's black connected? Those are stumps, logs, whatever they are. You got it. It's really easy. You want to find separation, okay, from that shadow. That shadow lets you know. See, like this dot right here. See how that white mark and there's a shadow? It's connected. That means it's right on the bottom. That means there's no separation. From almost all fish, you can see separation because they're usually not stuck so close to the bottom. That's like your telltale sign of whether or not it's a fish. Things like that. I'm gonna try to go over. Right now, I'm about to head on in because it's about, we got a tournament starting tomorrow, you know? I am gonna see, let's see. See, like, oh, here's a good one. Here's a good one, guys. So see that right there? Pause it. That right there, you can tell that that's something on bottom and the shadow's connected to it, right? That lets you know that that's not a fish. It's something on the bottom. That's got a really hard return. Who knows what that is? That's not a stump or anything. That looks like something that, a cooler or something on the bottom. That's got like a square edge to it. Let's see if there's a brush pile or two out here. I see there's a big old log. So you can see all the logs. See how all that stuff all has shadows on it, and they're all connected to all that stuff. Like, see, you don't even see hardly any fish or anything in them, right? They're just logs right on the bottom, and you can see that shadow connected to them. And that's all you do. To get really good at this stuff, you just gotta really put your head down and go look. You just go look at stuff over and over and over again, and then eventually, when you do come across fish, you kind of see them. And then when you catch bass, it's a lot easier to tell that they're bass or not. That's what I suggest is this. Go to your best stuff. If you ever get a unit, right, and you've never seen them before, like you've never seen bass or you want to see what it looks like, go to your best spots you fish anyways. You know those are bass, and go see what it looks like. That's what I always do. Like when I got this unit, I went to some of my best stuff right away and just idled it. And then you get real familiar. I do the same thing with live scope. And that's what'll help you out when you're trying to kind of dial in your unit that you have for the first time. All right, little tidbits. I'm always gonna be throwing these out there. I hope this helps a little bit. If you've got some Garmin's and you kind of get confused about some things, or like I said, I'm doing this more or less for guys that are like wanting to make that switch, right? And you're kind of worried about how hard it's going to be. It's not hard. It's easy, guys, I promise. It takes you no time to figure this out. All right, I gotta go get ready for this tournament.